and simply waited for the day to leave his body. Leave his body. So consciousness plays a very important role. It decides whatever is filled in our consciousness, decides our next life. There is no doubt about it. And we are slightly deviating from the topic now, that Atmas take birth in group. Don't think today I have got a family from such and such part of India, and next life I will take birth in America and I will have a Jewish wife, and from an African brother or something, and third Janma I will take birth in moon, and fourth Janma in heaven. Nothing like that. The same group of people are going to take birth again and again and again. Sorry for this disappointing news. So in this Janma, you may be husband and wife. Next Janma, father-daughter. Third Janma, brother-sister. Fourth Janma, colleague. Fifth Janma, neighbor. The same Atmas will come again and again, but the relationship may change. That is why Shastra says there is no point in divorcing your wife, because she is going to come back in her next life also. And third, you can never get rid of her. She will come in the next Janma, third Janma, fourth Janma, fifth Janma. Only way is to break the cycle and attain liberation. The group of Atmas, your family, your colleagues, whoever has affected you either positively or negatively in this lifetime, are going to appear again and again and again. Your boss. For some people, boss is like Yamaraj. They always think of the boss and wake up and go to the bed thinking of their boss. He's like a deadliest person. That man also has got a karmic connection with you. Next lifetime, he will become your father-in-law. Who knows? They come back again and again and again. To prove this statement, Bhagavatam clearly says, initially two people were there, Indra and Surya. God played a trick, a trick. Krishna played a trick. Surya and Indra. Krishna told Indra, you are the king of heavens, Devraj. You are the lord of heavens. You are the lord of Devas. He told Surya also, you are the lord of Devas. What is that shloka? Yat chakshureva savita sakalagrahanam raja. Sun is the king of all planets. So God, Krishna told Surya also to be the king of Devas. Krishna told Indra also to be the king of Devas. So there was a small competition between them, between Surya and Indra. This is in Satyuga, right at the creation. Then in Treta Yuga, same Surya and Indra took birth as Bali and Sugriva. You see, the competition continued. Indra and Surya, next Yuga, they became Bali and Sugriva. For no reason, there was a lot of misunderstandings between them. And the competition continued and a bit of enmity developed. Then in Dwapara Yuga, Surya's portion became Karna, Indra's portion became Arjuna, and right on the first day when they came face to face, they were hating each other. No reason. They were meeting each other for the first time in life. Karna and Karna and Arjuna came. They were hating to the core because that was continuing from the previous one. In first Janma, it was competition. Second Janma, it became hatredness. And the third, it became enmity. So, the group of Atmas will appear again and again and again. They will come back. Maybe in different forms, different relationship. So the only way to get out is liberation and nothing else, because karmic bondage is so severe. And consciousness plays a very big role. Whatever we are feeling in our consciousness. And Prabhupada said 99% all the people who leave their body will be mostly thinking about their grandchildren. This is a common syndrome. Most of the elderly people who leave their body, if they are not devotees, I'm talking general, they will think about their grandchildren and again come back to the same family. That is why in those days they had a custom. I don't know whether it is prevailing in North India. In South India they had a custom of naming the grandson with grandfather's name. The grandson will always get grandfather's name. They will put grandfather's name as a surname or something for the grandchildren. Because they again and again take birth in the same family. So consciousness plays a very important role. Then the great, amazing third Janma Bharata Maharaja took. Jata, his name was. Jata. Jata means a dumb fellow, that is all. And Bhagavatam names him Jata Bharata because for that we can understand who that person is. But actual his name was Jata, means simply a dumb person. A wonderful Brahmana, religious Brahmana, had 2 wives. First wife had 9 sons and second wife had a boy and a girl. The Brahmana had 2 wives and the first wife had 9 sons and the second wife had a boy and a girl. A similar story you can see in Bible also, the story of Jacob or something like that. The brothers make a plot and kill the younger one, and the younger one escapes from the trap and becomes the king of a country. There is a story in Bible. There are many stories you can see similarity. You can see Matsya Avatara story in Bible as Noah's Ark. Many stories you can see. So Bharata, Jata Bharata's father had 2 wives. He's a wonderful Brahmana. He had 2 wives. First wife had 9 boys, second wife had 2 children, and one is Bharata, Jata. And the father was a very affectionate, religious father, and father naturally loved this dumb boy more than all other children. That is a natural, genuine affection of a father. For example, a father has 2 sons. One is a very qualified, intelligent, capable son, another is a handicapped son. So father will put full attention on the handicapped son. That is why we should never blame the younger devotees. Many times we find fault with younger devotees who have come to Krishna consciousness in the last few years, 5 years, 10 years, 1 or 2 years. It is a tendency to find fault. What are they doing? They are not doing properly this, that and all. No. When they are weak, people, if they are struggling in Krishna consciousness, we should not blame, rather we should protect them. So Bharata's father had a natural compassion for this Jata, and all the other brothers were, mistreating him, insulting him, that things like that. And gradually Bharata's father and mother passed away. So Jata Bharata came under the shelter of these 9 brothers. And he was such a dumb person. But Bhagavatam says, actually Jata Bharata was not a dumb person. Very intelligent person, refined intelligence. But he acted as a dumb person. He will not do. And the example given is, if he goes to toilet, purposely he will not wash and come. This is the example given by Shukdev Goswami. He was acting so dumb because the society will reject him and he can fully meditate on Krishna because he was so scared that I should not make that mistake again. I should not get attached to any insignificant thing, any tiny thing in this life. I have to be very vigilant and careful. So purposely he was acting dumb. This is a beautiful comparison between ego and humility. What is ego? People who exaggerate themselves, expressing themselves beyond the real picture, larger than their real life picture. This is ego. If I am earning 10,000 rupees salary, if I show off like a 30,000 rupees salary, man, I am egoistic. If I show off, I got stuck in a tough traffic for 15 minutes. Prabhuji, why are you late for the program? Ayyo, what to say? I was in the traffic for last 1 hour. I was struggling. Actually, he got stuck for 15 minutes. But he came and said it's 1 hour. That is an expression of ego. Exaggerating. Whatever he is going through, making it big. You know, trying to express an ordinary person into extraordinary is ego. What is humility? An extraordinary person acting as an ordinary person is humility. You know, we are ordinary people, but we always try to impress others as though we are extraordinary. But an extraordinary person acting as an ordinary person is humility, and that was Hanuman. Hanuman was extraordinary, but he will act like the ordinary person. So here Jadabharata was such a qualified person, but he was acting as a dumb fellow. He will go to toilet, he will not wash and come. And he will throw the cow dung patties, that roti they make out of cow dung, you know, that fuel thing. He will throw it on people, purposely doing wrong deeds. And finally, the nine brothers got so badly irritated, they somehow want to get rid of this person. They wanted to badly get rid of Jadabharata. And they were hatching different plots to get rid of Jadabharata. And Jadabharata was also waiting for such a chance. And one day the brothers gathered and said, anyway, in our field, you know, it's a harvesting season. We need to harvest our crops, right? So this is the time lot of thieves will come and steal our crops. So why don't we send Jadabharata to the jungle in the night? Let him be the security. If he can protect the crops, it is very good. But if the thieves come and kill him and steal the crops, even that is good, we can get rid of Jadabharata. So in either way, it is a win-win situation. So the nine brothers made a plot and sent Jadabharata to jungle, you know, to protect the crops in the night. And Jadabharata went to jungle, and gradually he realized he is alone. Nobody is watching him. So he was chanting, singing Krishna's name, enjoying the bliss of spirituality, remembering Krishna's Leela, the pastimes of God, Krishna again and again. And you know, he was with tears, he was feeling that ecstatical symptoms. He was even dancing and running in the field. You know, he was so blissful. A beautiful shloka is there in Puranas. Santosho trishu kartavyaha. Always be satisfied with three things. Swadhare, bhojane, dhana. Be very satisfied with three things. With your wife, with food, and with whatever money you have.